All right, strap in, everybody. We're going deep today.
Buckle up.
Yeah, into William Blake's The Marriage of Heaven and Hell.
Oh, Blake.
Have you spent some time with Blake?
Oh, yeah, quite a bit,
This
actually.
is a wild ride.
It's a wild ride, yeah.
It's poetry, it's prose.
Things.
Yeah, he did it all.
This guy, he was a visionary.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so in The Marriage of Heaven and Hell, he's really kind of playing with these ideas of peace and evil.
Flipping them on their head.
Heaven and hell, yeah.
Challenging everything.
So let's dive in.
Yeah, let's do it.
The argument, that's where it starts.
Okay.
It's a poem, and it sets the scene. It's pretty intense.
It is. There's fire, perilous paths. The just and the villainous are going at it.
Yeah, what'd you get from that?
It's dramatic, for sure. But it also lays the groundwork for this really central idea.
Okay.
Without contraries is no progression.
Without contraries is no progression. What's that all about?
It's about tension. It's not just good versus evil, but like...
Right. Love and hate, reason and passion.
Okay.
Even creation and destruction, all these opposites pushing and pulling.
So it's not about, like, getting rid of the bad stuff.
No, not at all.
More about the tension.
Yeah. Blake thinks that's what makes life, well, life. It drives us, pushes us forward.
Okay, so we need a little bit of the dark to see the light.
Exactly. Try to suppress one side, you get stuck. You can't have light without darkness.
Right, right. Okay, so far so good.
Mm-hmm.
But then Blake does something interesting.
What's that?
He gives the devil a voice.
Oh, yeah.
And not the kind of devil we might expect.
No fire and brimstone here?
No, this devil's like philosophical.
A rebel with a cause.
Yeah, a rebel with a cause. He points out what he calls 3 big errors in how we usually think about religion.
All right, let's hear them.
Okay, the first one. Body and soul, separate.
Yeah, that classic split.
The devil says, no way, they're connected.
What we call body is all part of the soul, just how we experience it.
So the body's not bad.
Not to Blake. It's part of the whole package. How we sense the world, the divine even.
Interesting. Okay, what's the second error?
It's this idea that energy and desire are bad, that they come from the body and got to be controlled.
Right.
But Blake's devil, he turns that on its head. He says energy is eternal delight.
Energy is eternal delight. Love that. So he sees energy as the source of life, creativity.
Absolutely. And reason, it's just a boundary we put around it.
It's almost like saying we should embrace our desires.
Yeah, wouldn't that be something?
Instead of always trying to, like, repress them.
Right. But Blake believed true virtue is about balance, not denial. He even suggests restraint comes from weakness, not strength.
So if you're really in control?
You don't need to be afraid of your own desires.
Interesting. All right, what's the third error?
It's this idea of eternal punishment for following those desires.
Okay, right. Big one.
The devil challenges that, says we create our own heaven or hell through our actions.
So it's about choice.
Yeah, and responsibility.
And he also kind of reinterprets figures like Satan and Messiah.
Oh yeah, Blake loves doing that.
He does. It's like he's saying, hey, maybe it's not so black and white.
Exactly. They represent different sides of the human experience.
It's all about those contraries.
Holy.
Then he throws in this line, know that after Christ's death, he became Epiphova. What?
Right. It's like, whoa, what's going on here?
What's you think?
It's open to interpretation, but maybe it's about a merging of opposites or questioning these figures as unchanging absolutes.
Right, right. Okay, so we've got this idea of contraries driving everything.
Tension, opposite.
This devil questioning everything.
Shape things up.
And Blake playing with these figures like Satan and Messiah.
And we're just getting started.
I know, right? This is just the tip of the iceberg. We haven't even gotten to those proverbs of hell yet.
Oh, those are good, like little firecrackers of wisdom.
I love a good proverb, especially one that makes me think.
Oh, you're in for a treat then.
All right, let's hear it. What kind of infernal wisdom does Blake have in store for us?
Well, get ready to have your mind blown. Okay, the Proverbs of Hell.
Lay it on me.
All right, you ready for this one?
Hit me.
The road of excess leads to a palace of wisdom.
Whoa.
Right.
That's not what they teach you in Sunday school.
Definitely not. It goes against everything we think about moderation.
Yeah, like be careful, don't overdo it.
But for Blake, access wasn't about just indulging.
Right.
It was about pushing boundaries.
Okay.
Experiencing life to the fullest, even if it means making mistakes.
So to gain wisdom.
Got to get a little lost.
Right.
Go beyond the safe and familiar.
I like that. Okay, what else? Give me another one.
Okay, how about this? If the fool would persist in his folly, he would become wise.
That's like a paradox, isn't it?
It is, but there's truth in it. Sometimes we learn more from our mistakes, from those moments where we stumble, more than from playing it safe.
Yeah, permission to screw up.
In a way, yeah, it's part of the process.
I like these. These are good. Okay, what else you got?
Here's one that feels really relevant today.
Okay.
Prisons are built with stones of law, brothels with bricks of religion.
Whoa. Okay, that's a statement.
It is.
It's like he's going after these institutions that try to control us.
Yeah, Blake was wary of any system that imposed one way of thinking,
Okay.
whether it's laws or religious dogma. He thought true freedom comes from within,
So embracing those contraries.
Absolutely. Making us unique individuals.
And remember, he's writing this at a crazy time,
Oh,
right?
yeah. French Revolution, Industrial Revolution.
So these ideas would have been like explosive.
Super radical. He is challenging the powers that be.
Yeah, he was. So we've got these proverbs shaking things up, making us question everything.
And then there are the memorable fancies.
Right, the memorable things.
They're like these wild visions, journeys into Blake's imagination.
Yeah, less bite-sized, right? More like extended trips.
Yeah, exactly. The proverbs are like jabs. The memorable fancies are like deep dives.
Okay, I'm ready to die.
All right. Memorable fancy number 1.
Let's do.
It starts with this process of knowledge being transmitted through 6 chambers,
Right, with all those crazy symbols.
each one representing a stage in creation and destruction.
like a cycle.
Yeah, you've got the Dragon Man clearing the way, the Viper decorating the cave with precious metals.
And the eagle expanding it all to infinity. It's pretty out there.
And that's just the start. Lions melting the metals into fire, the raw energy,
Right, and then those unnamed forms casting it out. It's like how ideas are born.
shaped and then spread through writing.
Okay, so it's not just random weirdness.
No, there's a process here.
A cycle. But then you've got these two classes of men.
The prolific and the devouring.
Right, right. What are they all about?
So the prolific, they're the creators,
Okay.
overflowing with energy and ideas, like a fountain always pouring out.
And the devouring.
They're the ones who try to control that energy, contain it.
Hold it back.
Yeah, like a cistern, holding on to something that wants to flow.
And Blaise on the side of the prolific, right?
Absolutely. He sees the devouring as trying to stifle creativity.
Trying to reconcile things that should be in tension.
Right. Remember that line, one law for the lion and ox is oppression.
Yeah, that's deep.
He's saying that forcing one system on everyone, it doesn't work. It's like caging a lion.
Right, right. Okay, I'm seeing the connections here.
To those institutions he talked about in the Proverbs, the prisons of the brothels, it's all about control, limiting freedom.
So, memorable fancy number 1, it's this cycle of creation and destruction, this tension between those who make and those who try to control.
Right.
Okay, so what happens in the next fancy?
Well, get ready for this. Blake has dinner with Isaiah and Ezekiel.
Oh, wow. That's a dinner party I'd love to be a fly on the wall for.
Yeah, it gets pretty interesting.
Okay, I'm all ears. Okay, so Isaiah and Ezekiel. Prophets, dinner parties. Blake sure keeps things interesting.
He does, he does. Now, memorable fancy number 3, this is a quick one,
Okay.
but it's about this printing house in hell.
A printing house in hell.
Yeah, he takes us on a tour.
Okay.
Like, imagine an old-school printing press. 18th century style.
Yeah, with the big presses, the ink.
Yeah, all of that, but in hell, each chamber, a different stage of creating and spreading knowledge.
So, like, even a printing press becomes this symbolic thing.
Oh yeah, for Blake, everything's symbolic.
Right, right.
And by putting it in hell, well, he's playing with us.
Okay, how so?
He's saying maybe true knowledge isn't where we expect it. Not those traditional sources of authority. Maybe it's in the unexpected places, even the forbidden ones where we're forced to question things.
I like that. All right, memorable fancy number 4.
This one's a bit of a roller coaster.
Okay, buckle up.
So Blake's with this angel,
Uh-huh.
and the angel's showing him his supposed eternal fate.
Right.
And it's scary stuff. Images of the abyss, giant spiders, Leviathan rising from the sea.
Yeah, I remember those. Intense.
It's like a descent into the darkest parts of our minds.
Okay, yeah, I get that.
But then
Then
everything shifts.
it does, yeah. Suddenly it's peaceful. There's this harper.
Right. And the harper sings this song,
About a man who never changes his mind.
like standing water, and breeds reptiles of the mind.
Yeah, that's a powerful image. So is Blake saying the vision of hell, it was good for him?
In a way, yeah, it pushed him. It's like clinking to those rigid beliefs. It can be just as bad as the abyss.
Because you're not open to new ideas?
Exactly. You stagnate.
You stagnate, yeah. Okay, and then Blake, well, he does something pretty bold.
Oh, yeah, he does. He turns the tables on the angel.
He does. Flings him into the sun, then into space.
Between Saturn and the fixed stars, no less.
Classic Blake, always challenging authority.
Always. Even angelic authority. It's like he's showing us, even those we think are all-knowing,
Yeah.
they have limits. True wisdom comes from questioning, exploring beyond those boundaries.
Right. Okay, so the angels of space, what now?
Well, they keep going, and Blake ends up down in this pit.
Uh-huh.
And there are these houses made of brick.
Brick houses.
Yeah, but inside,
Yeah.
chain monkeys fighting each other.
Whoa. That's a disturbing image.
It is. What do you make of it?
I don't know. It's like those monkeys, they're trapped.
Right.
Maybe it's about how rational thought, when it's all we rely on, it can trap us too.
Yeah, interesting.
Like we get stuck in these systems and lose sight of, I don't know, imagination, empathy.
Like those proverbs about prisons built with laws.
Yeah.
It's about confinement. whether it's physical or mental.
Right, right. Okay, and then Blake, he rejects the angel's analytics.
He does. He chooses experience over pure logic.
Like, don't just think about life.
Live it.
Feel it. Okay, I like that. Last one, memorable fancy number 5.
All right, this is the showdown. Devil versus angel.
Ooh, can't wait for this one.
The devil, he defines the worship of God as honoring his gifts in other men, each according to his genius, and loving the greatest men best.
So not the usual be humble, deny yourself kind of stuff.
No, this is different. It's about celebrating those unique talents in others.
Like be inspired, not jealous.
Exactly. See the divine spark in how others express themselves.
Okay, but I'm guessing the angel's not going to agree with that.
Nope. He defends the traditional view.
The 10 Commandments.
Yeah, anyone who breaks those rules is a sinner.
And the devil's response.
He points out that Jesus, he broke those commandments too.
He did, yeah, to embody true virtue.
Right. Blake saying, those rules, they can't contain real goodness. Sometimes you got to break the mold.
To do what's right.
Yeah, it's about following your heart, not just blindly obeying.
That makes sense. Okay, so what happens in this epic battle?
Well, the angel embraces the flame.
The flame.
Yeah, and he's consumed by it. Rises up like Elijah.
Wow, transformation.
Yeah, he transcends his limited view.
And then the devil.
Who turns out to be Blake's friend.
Right, right.
He encourages Blake to read the Bible in its infernal or diabolical sense.
That's it. Don't take it at face value.
Yeah, dig deeper. Question everything. Find those hidden meanings.
That's what this whole marriage of heaven and hell is about, isn't it?
It is. Embracing paradox. Challenging what we think we know.
Finding the divine in ourselves and the world.
Exactly. It's been a wild ride with Blake, hasn't it?
It has. From fiery visions to printing presses in hell, angels in space, and devils spouting wisdom.
Blake makes you think.
He does. He challenges us to see things in a new light. So as you go out there, ponder those proverbs. Remember that line. The worship of God is honoring his gifts in other men, each according to his genius.
How does that change your view of the world?
That's something to think about. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. We'll catch you next time for another exploration of, well, whatever blows our minds. 1784.